to be one of my all-time favorite delay effects. Check this out. If you were listening in stereo, and let's face it, if you're not listening in stereo, what are you doing with your life? You would have noticed that delay was not only panning around the spectrum, every couple of echoes there was this interesting phase phenomena where it sounded like the delay was coming from behind your head. This is a patch on my Axe-Fx that I put together with the help of a buddy of mine all the way in Sweden called Nicholas. We measured a patch from the old Sony DPS M7 called Spiral Delay. And when I tried that unit out, you can find the video on my channel, that spiral delay, or the spiral modulation as the algorithm is called, blew me away, and I had to figure out how to do it on the Axe-Fx. I actually didn't have a lot of luck, so Nicholas sent me some test signals to run through the old Sony, and he was able to crack the code. So I'm putting this preset up for free for anyone who wants to try it. But what on earth is happening? You know, you can see this quad chromatic block with the levels going up and down in some sort of relationship over here. Let's break down the tone. I'm using the USA Mark IV Lead mid bright model with a fat switch on over here. This is a 1990 Les Paul Custom. I'm using my free cab IR, and there's a 300 millisecond delay with lots of feedback at 70%. I'm running this in parallel because the delay is going into this quad chromatic pitch block with absolutely no pitch shifting. What we're doing is we're using the level control on here attached to two different LFOs to create that panning effect. Essentially, what's happening is, let's look at level 1 and level 2. They are totally out of phase with what they're doing, but then level 3 and level 4, while out of phase with one another, have an additional phase offset from level 1 and level 2. And in the Sony DPS manual, you can actually go in there and see a diagram of the algorithm, and you can look at the parameters in the patch and figure out what's going on. So in order to get these levels going up and down, we're using the controllers tab over here. So LFO1 and LFO2, they're actually set up very, very simply over here. In fact, you only need to use a single LFO to do this. We've got the rate at 0.41 Hertz, which is exactly the same as the patch on the Sony. And we've set the phase output for output B to 45 degrees. That is the same phase offset in the Sony patch. However, if we look at the modifiers, we've got level 1 attached to LFO 1A. Now, to get the second level completely out of phase, we've got it attached to the same LFO. We've just flipped the start and end points in the modifiers, which is very, very clever. This is a great way if you want to create multiple phase offsets with a single modifier or controller. That's how to do it. Then, if we go into level 3, this is LFO 1B, which, remember, was 45 degrees out of phase with LFO 1A, and you can probably guess it by now. If you go to level 4, it's attached to LFO 1B, but we're using the start and end values swapped around. So this is why these are 180 degrees out of phase. These are 180 degrees out of phase with one another, but then the top and the bottom have that 45 degree offset. Or you can just download the patch and play it and have some fun. It sounds particularly good through stereo studio monitors or with headphones on. I'll give you a little bit more playing and noodling around. The preset is linked in the video description. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel and you want to support me directly, you can check out some of the music that I make with my band Ragdoll. You can check out my Patreon or my Gumroad store. Again, this is a free preset. I want to share it with all of you. Go and have some fun with it, and then we'll hear it over a little backing track. Catch you next time.